19th, 2016, and invite you to stand if you choose while Commissioner Perigin provides the invocation and then the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's pray. Dear Lord, please be with this group of community leaders and help guide us through making decisions on behalf of our great community. Also, please help all the workers and citizens going to be affected by the incoming inclement weather to stay safe and warm. In your name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Williams,
Here.
Commissioner Denning,
Here.
Commissioner Hill,
Here.
Commissioner Perigin,
Here.
Mayor Wilkerson.
Here. Permit me just a point of personal privilege here. We're going to go out of order just a moment to read a proclamation for a special group of young men who have joined us tonight. I like this habit of you guys coming nearly every year. The seniors from the Bowling Green High football team have joined us tonight, and we want to acknowledge them. If I could invite the team, if you would, just line up right here in front of us, if you don't mind, and we'll make sure that you understand that this city appreciates all that you've done to make this a great community. Coach Kevin Wallace, come on up.
Coach.
I get to read this. This is the fun part of my job, getting to do something along this line. So this is on behalf of the city of Bowling Green, and we get to declare this the season of Bowling Green Purples football. Whereas the Bowling Green High School football team had a 14-1 winning season for 2015, and whereas the Bowling Green High School football team won their fourth Kentucky 5A football championship in the past 5 seasons in the Commonwealth Gridiron Bowl, and whereas the Bowling Green High School football team won the championship by a score of 21-7, and whereas the Bowling Green High School football team and the coaching staff led by head coach Kevin Wallace has dominated high school football in 2015 again, and whereas Bowling Green High School Purples fans are the greatest fans in Kentucky. Now, therefore, we, the Bowling Green Board of Commissioners of the City of Bowling Green, do hereby proclaim 2015 as the season of Bowling Green Purples football and acknowledge this outstanding accomplishment in the area of high school athletics, and encourage everyone to congratulate all the members of the team and the coaching staff. Congratulations, guys.
I would just like to thank the City Commission for recognizing this group of young men. We have 17 seniors. I think we have 11 of them with us here today. Obviously with work, basketball, other commitments with some of them that they couldn't all be here, but Justin Gentry, Josh Sansom, Zach Turner, Jake Bush, Andrew Spader, Griffin Klein, Trey Fant, Marion Brown, Dane Drabosky, Jacob Yates, and Jordan Meredith. I appreciate all those guys being here. They're going to be sorely missed. During their careers, they went 53-3 over a 4-year span of time and won 3 state championships. We appreciate your support, and as the mayor said, we would love to make a habit of this and be back again.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Kevin.
And as always, it's always a good day to be a Purple.
And Coach Wallace, I just have a question. Is this legal? Can we say in the stands, "Go Purples"?
Thank you, Kentucky. Might not be in Wisconsin. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank y'all.
Appreciate you
Good
being
luck in
here.
the future.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Enjoyed watching y'all play.
Will you all get here and turn so we can get y'all?
We're purples too.
Congratulations. Once a purple, always a purple. Thank you.
Y'all try.
Hey, nice.
I kind of picked that out to wear today.
Congratulations, gentlemen. Thanks.
Just one shot.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Good luck to y'all going forward, too.
See you in the stands next year.
Okay.
Everybody sit back.
Get up in the chair.
Okay. Everybody smile. 1, 2, 3. One more. All right. Thank y'all.
See you guys.
Congratulations.
See you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Y'all come back anytime.
Congratulations. I know you can't reach very far. Just throw your hand up.
Come on back.
Good to see you.
Come to a
Congratulations.
meeting sometime.
Anytime.
So much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Nice suit. Thank y'all so much for being here. That's always a fun time for us, all year long. Getting back in order, we have a public hearing, and the purpose of this public hearing is to receive comments about the annual action plan draft for year 13 of the Community Development Block Grant Entitlement Program. Mr. Febo.
Thank you, Mayor. As we all remember, the city of Bowling Green is an entitlement community for community action block grant funds, and pursuant to HUD regulations, we have to have a public hearing to solicit comments from the public. Leading us today will be Nick Cook. Nick?
Evening, Mr. Cook.
Good evening, everyone. The purpose of tonight's public hearing is to provide an overview of the city's Community Development Block Grant Program, and then to also give the public the opportunity to comment on the community development and housing needs here in the city. Before I get started, I just wanted to point out that I have a couple of sign-in sheets going around, so I just ask everybody in attendance to please sign in. Okay, so the city receives approximately $500,000 each year from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Each year's funding allocation is determined by a formula based on population, poverty, age of housing, growth lag, and overcrowding. Okay, so make sure. So each funded activity by the city's CDBG program must meet one of three national objectives. The first being 51% of the population served by the project must be of low to moderate income. The second being prevention or elimination of slum and blight. And then the third being urgent need. And these are generally going to be tied to presidentially declared disasters. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about the planning process. Every 5 years, the city is required to complete a consolidated plan. And what this is through citizen participation, through citizen participation and through data collection and analysis, the city will establish priorities for spending the funds. And those current priorities are quality, affordable housing, neighborhood improvements, and economic opportunities. And then each year of our consolidated plan, we are required to have an annual action plan which identifies each specific projects that's going to be funded for that year. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit about the timing of the process. So we are required to have 2 public comment periods. The first one we're in the middle of, which started December 30th and ends January the 28th. Then during this public comment period, we will have a public hearing, which obviously we're having here tonight. And then at the end of that public comment period, we will have an open agency application process for our public service program funding. And that's going to run from January 29th to February the 19th. And what we'll do is staff will review all applications submitted, and then a citizen review committee will take a look at those applications, and then they will present funding recommendations for our Board of Commissioners. Once we get through that, we will then draft an annual action plan, and that will take, about 30 days, so we will have that completed by the end of March, and then we will have our second public comment period, which will run from March 30th through April 28th. And then in the middle of that last public comment period, we will have a public hearing, which is currently scheduled for April 19th at 4:30. So let's talk a little about the approval process. So we will have to take our annual action plan for you all for approval on May 3rd, and then it will be submitted to HUD's Louisville office by the May 15th deadline. Once we receive HUD Louisville's approval, we will then have to take each funded project before an environmental review process. This is typically 60 to 90 days. And then once that's complete, we can then begin implementation of our annual action plan. So let's talk a little bit about the eligible activities. We can do property acquisition for any public purpose, public facilities improvements, that could be sidewalks, parks, clearance activities, public services, relocation, rehabilitation, homeowner assistance, economic development, and administrative costs. So these are the activities we cannot fund with CDBG funding. Buildings for general conduct of government, general government expenses, political activities, new housing construction, income payments, purchase of equipment, operating and maintenance expenses, and assistance to professional sports teams. So this pie graph here represents our past allocation of funds. You can see we're at 41% 41%, we've spent the majority of our funding on housing activities. At 38%, it's been public facilities. Then at 9%, it's been economic development. And then the final 12% has been split between public services and administration. So I just want to give you all some examples of some past projects that we have funded. For under acquisition of property, we've worked with Community Action on a couple of projects. One was for a new child care center, and then also for a weatherization and transit building. And in recent years, we've worked with CASA and the Family Enrichment Center on acquiring buildings so that they could expand their services for additional people in the community. Okay, under residential rehab, we've had some homeowner rehab projects in the past, and then we've also partnered with Live the Dream Development on a rental conversion program. And what that is rental properties that are dilapidated will be acquired, rehabilitated, and then they are sold to low-income individuals for affordable housing. And what you can see here is a couple before and after pictures on one of the most recent properties that we work with that agency on. Construction, we've worked with Barren River Area Safe Space for the construction of a new Economic Justice Institute. We've worked with the Housing Authority on the expansion of the Phoenix Place Learning Center. We did a sidewalk project at Bow Landing Road. You can see in the picture in the bottom left there, park improvement project we did at Parker Bennett. On the bottom right, there's a picture of a flood mitigation project we did at Wendover Place Apartments. Durbin Estates, that is a affordable housing development that the city partnered with Habitat for Humanity on. The city's role in that was to help put in the infrastructure for some of the new houses. And then last College View Drive sidewalk project, that's one we just wrapped up last year. Public services, we've worked with Community Action on a child care program. We're currently working with the Bowling Green Warren County Welfare Center on a utility and rental assistance payment program. You can see the picture there where we partnered with the Alive Center for a GED ESL class program. And then we're currently working with Big Brothers and Big Sisters on a youth mentoring program. Small business development, that's something that we have done in the past with the Small Business Development Center at WKU and the Housing Authority, where low-income individuals are provided technical assistance and training in hopes of starting a new business or expanding an existing business. And then for administrative costs, what we fund there is a fair housing education and outreach program that we work with the Bowling Green Human Rights Commission on. And then, of course, we have our general administration-related expenses for the program. So estimated funding for fiscal year 2017, we're currently expecting about $518,000. However, we will not know for sure for a few more months. Okay, so for our public service program funding, we're having a CDBG grantee workshop on January 28th at 9 o'clock a.m. at the NCS Community Room. This is a good opportunity for agencies that are seeking this year's funding to gain a better understanding on the program and also get some one-on-one time with staff. So we really recommend at least one staff member from each applying agency to attend this workshop. Okay, so we're requesting that all written comments be submitted by January 28th to Nick Cook, P.O. Box 430, Bowling Green, Kentucky 42102, or to my email address at nick.cook@bgky.org. And at this time, I'll open up the floor for any questions or comments.
Anyone on the commission have a question or comment for Mr. Cook with regard to the plan?
I have one. Can you explain the new system, the Fair Housing Program, and as it relates to the CDBG?
Yes. Actually, the city, as a CDBG annual recipient, is required to undertake fair housing activities each year. So our partnership with the Human Rights Commission is what they assist us with that activity. And they do a number of things. They have an annual event. They accept fair housing complaints and work to help resolve those complaints. And then they also will put on workshops, or they will partner with other agencies to set up booths and informational seminars as well on fair housing.
Public hearing, if anyone has a comment they would like to provide on the expenditures of our community development block grant anticipated funds, this would be the opportunity for you to make those comments. Seeing no one come forward with any additional comments, Mr. DeFebo?
Nick, are you still here? Those are already funded and plan to fund for next year, or anybody funded, are performance measures required for anybody receiving funding from us?
Yes. For the 3 national objectives that I mentioned earlier, each project or program is set up to where we can track the activities and the results to where performance measures will be met for each particular project. And we set those at the onset of each project, and then we will have a contract with each grantee, which will have those performance measures in the contract.
Okay, thanks.
Else? All right, again, you can submit your written comments to this, Mr. Cook at P.O. Box 430, Bowling Green 42102, or nick.cook@bgky.org. Anyone else? That concludes this public hearing, and we'll continue with our regular meeting. Thank you, Mr. Dale, for being here. Appreciate it. Let's see, we advanced one of our awards and recognitions, but I wanted to take just a moment to let everyone know, most people have heard that one of our own achieved Ambassador of the Year, was selected by her peers for the Chamber of Commerce, our ambassadors group, and they're dedicate hours to working through recruitment and extending goodwill through the community. So we want to congratulate Dr. Sue Perigin for her help there. Congratulations. Yeah, you're ready. And then congratulate Joe Denning on getting us some great publicity on the preservation of the High Street project. All the people down there. It's a great article. Thanks for working on that.
And Stan England.
And Mr. England for all his hard work too.
That's great.
Congratulations. Anything else, Mr. Febo?
Under awards and recognitions, none, but if you want to do city manager's comments, I'm ready. There'll be a need for an executive session. Katie will read the reason.
Pursuant to KRS 61810-1C, for discussions of proposed litigation against or on behalf of the city.
So move.
Second.
Second by Perigin. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams.
Yes.
Denning.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
No, Mayor, thank you.
First item is approval of minutes from the regular meeting on January 5th, 2016.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Hill, second by Perigin. Any correction? Coming up. Any other comments or corrections? Please call the roll.
Williams.
Yes.
Denning.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
At every regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners, we provide an opportunity for public comments. This is the chance for people to bring issues or items to our attention, and this would be your opportunity. If you'd like to come up, this will be your time. Remind us of your name and address so we can put it in
Yes,
the record.
good afternoon, Mayor and fellow commissioners. My name is Patricia Minter. I live at 1262 Chestnut Street. And Mayor Wilkerson and Bowling Green commissioners, I am one of many people here tonight from Bowling Green Fairness. As you well know, we have been organizing and advocating for our local civil rights ordinance to add sexual orientation and gender identity as protected classes, which would make it illegal to discriminate against LGBT members of our Bowling Green community. Last November, a large group of people brought to you a list of over 100 local businesses and nearly 1,000 signed petitions in support of this cause. We have seen so much excitement and support for this cause in our community. This proposed amendment that would protect LGBT community members from discrimination is just, it is fair, and it is most certainly time. We have come before this body many times with this support, but each time we have not heard any comments from you. This evening we are here for exactly that. We want to hear from you finally on this issue. We ask that you please address your constituents who have approached you. Thank you.
Else here to give a public comment tonight? just as a matter of information, this opportunity for public comment occurs at every one of our regular commission meetings, but it's not considered an item for debate. It's just for you to present information to us, and we appreciate you bringing those items to us. You're welcome to contact each of us individually if you'd like to discuss, one-on-one what someone brings. In order for an item to be on the agenda for commission discussion, it takes a motion and a second to be on the floor. Thus far, that has not occurred. So just as a point of information. Thank you for being here. Is anyone else? All right, the first item is second reading of BG Ordinance 2016, number 1.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning a tract of land containing 0.5176 acre from RM3 multifamily residential to CB central business located at 1202 State Street, presently owned by Vilson and Ariana Jahaya.
So move.
Second.
Hill, second by Williams. Is there any discussion? It's the second reading, so we had information before us before. Call the roll.
Williams.
Yes.
Denning.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Second reading of ordinance BG 2016, number 2.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning a tract of land containing 7.63 acres from RS1A single-family residential and F floodplain to PUD planned unit development and F floodplain located at 1128 Cave Mill Road, presently owned by Bowling Green Senior Living LLC.
So move.
Second.
By Hill, second by Perigin. Again, a second reading. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams.
Yes.
Denning.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. And second reading of ordinance BG 2016, number 3.
Ordinance amending Code of Ordinances. Ordinance amending Chapter 2, Administration, Subchapter 2-6, Department of Finance, and Chapter 25, Code of Ethics, Subchapter 2512, Financial Disclosure of the City of Bowling Green Code of Ordinances to make administrative revisions.
So move.
Second.
By Hill, second by Denning. Again, second reading to do some cleanup language for Chapter 2. Any other discussion? Please call the roll.
Williams.
Yes.
Denning.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Municipal Order 2016, number 11.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting bid number 2016-18 for Cisco security equipment from JBK Network Consulting Ltd. of Bowling Green, Kentucky in the amount of $100,021.28.
So move. Second.
Second by Hill. Mr. DeFebo?
Thank you, Mayor. Protecting our data on our computer systems is one of our highest concerns. In our annual audit, the auditing firm recommends that we take additional steps to protect our computer system. So we went out to bid for the equipment we feel is necessary to help us identify weaknesses in our network, as well as to identify areas in which we can improve our security. We had 4 bidders, and the lowest was JBK of Bowling Green. Lynn is here if you have any technical questions.
Call the roll.
Williams.
Yes.
Denning.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Municipal Order 2016, number 12.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting bid number 2016-06 for fiscal year 2016 sidewalk construction Phase 1 from Scott and Murphy Incorporated of Bowling Green, Kentucky in the amount of $206,392.
So move.
Second.
By Hill, second by Perigin. Mr. DeFebo?
Having a walkable community is one of the commission highest priorities. It's been that for at least a decade. We allocate about $400,000 a year to make that goal possible. We're here tonight to ask you to approve Phase 1, which will be 2 phases, to provide funding to install 2,500 running feet of sidewalk, curb, and gutter, as well as handicap ramps on Thames Avenue, West 11th, Pearl Street, and High Street. The low bidder is Scott and Murphy, in a value of $206,392. Melissa is here, Kanzler is here if you have any questions.
Comments or questions? We have the ranking list online for people to look at so they know how far down the list they might be.
Ask Melissa to come up.
Well, they're evaluated from a criteria.
I don't know that we've posted that, but we can provide that if they'd like to see it from the July prioritization. Of course, that changes every year, so when we add new ones, and not only when we add new requests, but also if we start filling in these gaps where we build new sidewalk, it may make a sidewalk nearby or a location nearby more desirable, because now you're slowly filling in those empty spaces. We've seen that happen a lot. So, but if there is interest, we can put that out there if it's not already out there, or provide it to whomever would like to see that.
I think it would be helpful for some areas to see that.
And it may be out there. I know we've had this discussion before about how much information we provide, but at a minimum, we do have the listing with the score, and it kind of gives them an idea. I know we have the next 5 years kind of in the works to see if nothing changes, how it would pan out in the next 5 years, so we're working on that right now.
At least what we're doing, planning to do this year, and maybe 1 year out, because I know if you get too far out.
I can say that we are, the ones we're working on right now of interest, we have design that's closing in on a portion of East Main, Stonehenge Avenue, East 14th, Kenton Street, and Cypresswood Lane. So those will be the next packet to go out for bid.
And again, for the public's interest, it's not because I want a sidewalk there. It's based on a ranking, a score
Yeah.
close to school, shopping, walking areas.
There's several criteria. One is,
parks.
their proximity to parks and other kind of pedestrian generators. One is called walkability. If there's a high volume or high-speed traffic, those roads are more desirable to get people off the roads. The gap score, like I mentioned, if there is a small piece of the puzzle that's missing between two existing sidewalks, that one will get bumped up before one that maybe the gap is larger. Cost, of course, and then technical feasibility. So if there's less utilities in the way, other more complicated issues, those rise to the top.
Melissa, a street that is listed this year as an example as number 4 in priority. We go ahead with the work that needs to be done for that calendar year. Does that number 4 in the next year's listing move up, or will it go down?
If the number 4 is selected for the FY16 funds, for instance, it would lock in, get designed, and eventually be built. Now, number 5, say we didn't have funds for number 5, it won't necessarily be the next one of priority if more come in to the system and we reprioritize, because we reprioritize every year. More than likely it will be. They don't change that much, but they can move around a little bit, but not necessarily.
By the way, Lehman Avenue looks great. It's going to be great.
I think it will. Hopefully it will address the walkability standpoint, and then also we have some storm money in that too to help with carrying some of that water that's coming off the hillside, and I know those neighbors will be glad to see that taken care of.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll. Thank you.
Thank you.
Williams.
Yes.
Denning.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. First reading of ordinance BG 2016, number 4.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning 2 tracts of land containing 0.3736 acre from LI Light Industrial to RM4 Multifamily Residential located at 101 15th Avenue, presently owned by Plan B Holdings LLC.
So move.
Second.
By Hill, second by Perigin. Mr. DeFebo.
Thank you, Mayor. As is your preference, Steve McWhorter is here if you have any questions about this ordinance.
Always provide packet and text from the Planning and Zoning Commission's meeting. Are there any other comments or questions that you might have for Mr. McWhorter? Please call the roll.
Williams.
Yes.
Denning.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
First reading of ordinance BG 2016, number 5.
Ordinance relating to budget amendment. Ordinance approving amendment number 2 to the City of Bowling Green, Kentucky annual operating budget for fiscal year 2016.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Hill, second by Williams. Mr. DeFebo.
Thank you, Mayor. This is our second budget amendment for this year's budget, which commenced in July. It's generally a housekeeping item. Jeff is here if you have any questions about any particular part of the amendment.
Questions from it? I'm explaining it in your memo. Please call the roll.
Williams,
Yes.
Denning,
Yes,
Hill,
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Municipal Order 2016-13.
Municipal order approving tax increment financing district summary of 2014 incremental revenue and authorizing distributions to the appropriate recipients.
So move.
Second.
By Hill, second by Williams. Mr. DeFebo.
Just an overview. Jeff's going to speak of particulars of the municipal order. Been involved with, as everyone knows, the tax increment financing district. The basic thesis is that businesses in a concentrated area, TIF district, produce X amount of revenue each year. We have committed every year to take 80% of that new revenue produced in that area and give that to others, Chapter 58 primarily, to distribute to the appropriate people who are going to reinvest in the district. This year, our 80% is $735,206. We get to keep 20% of that new activity. So it's 80-20, 80% going back, 20% we keep. Jeff, you want to comment?
Yes, this calculation also incorporates the new rules under the amended revenue sharing agreement that you all approved not too long ago. And the 20% that we are keeping is in your sheet there, and it's $183,801 that we would be paying ourselves. This calculation, like I said, was the first one under the new rules. It was somewhat of a challenge to do, to say the least, with the freeze of the base in some areas, the freeze at 1.25 in some other blocks. Every block seemed to have a little different twist to it, seems like. But this is what we came up with. We've looked at it over and over again. We feel like it's complete, and we're ready to go. We're going to distribute out to various things, but we'll note that the Block 6 bonds are going to be getting $158,000, and the authority will be getting about $196,000 that will be distributed. Well, actually, WKU gets money, SPE 1, county. You can see it there in your summary. So be glad to answer
Distributing
any
directly
questions.
to those entities?
I'm sorry.
Are we distributing it directly to those entities?
No, we distribute the authority and all the other ones to the authority, and then give the information to the authority to distribute that money. So we'll be basically cutting 3 checks, one to the trustee, one to the authority, and one to ourselves, basically.
but the check will be made directly to the authority?
Yes, sir.
Jeff, do we have anything in place to go back and verify that these agencies receive the amount of money they're supposed to?
That was my next question.
Sorry, I was reading your
Oh,
mind.
that's all right.
We see, sometimes we see copies of the checks. That's about it.
Is it mandatory that we see anything?
No, our kind of responsibility stops with this distribution to the authority. We fulfilled our obligation, unless, Gene, you have anything to add?
I mean, the authority's a public entity. You can always feel free to get records from them. Like, if the city requested records, they'd provide us. They're subject to the revenue sharing agreement as well. I mean, they're required to provide these funds to the other entities entitled to the money.
I can add a point. One of the corrective, if that's the right term, one of the actions you took in wake of the questions about the TIF was to add 2 members to the board, Ms. Hill and Jeff. So we feel that we have our own eyes now on the finances.
Just for record, Kevin, I have not been appointed to that board yet.
Oh, really?
That is correct.
Oh,
Understanding that's coming when
okay.
the close of the bonds, but I will follow up on that.
Thank you for letting us.
Thank you. I wanted that on the record, so.
And we want to make sure that our representatives have all the support that they need in following these monies regardless of where they go. Would we all agree?
Any other questions, any other comments? Well, the one thing we can note, if it's generating additional revenue, there must be some new activity going on, so we're appreciative of that.
And I
I
would
will-
like to publicly thank Jeff. Once again, he's put hours in, and Gene and Kevin, so thank you all very much for staying on top of this project.
Let me note one more thing, that the adjustment to the base that you all approved amounted to $239,946. That's part of this $735,000 that's being distributed out. So that's why it's a lot higher this year, because that includes the base freeze that you all approved to give towards the debt at Block 6.
Also, Jeff would verify that some of our largest employers, the growth in some of our largest employers in the amended district are adding to the size of this contribution. That would be Med Center, Grace Gilbert, who else? BGMU. So that was a purposeful decision years ago to create this level of money so that we could foment further development. So we've given some of our highest taxpayers.
Any other questions? Please call the roll.
Williams.
Yes.
Denning.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
Yes. Order 2016-14.
Municipal order approving the Parks and Recreation Master Plan as prepared by professional consultant Branstetter Carroll Incorporated.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Hill, second by Williams. Mr. Hubble.
On November 17th of this year, or last year, excuse me, Branstetter Carroll presented the final plan for our Park and Rec Department. Brent has asked you to approve the plan. It might be helpful if Mr. Belcher would come forward to refresh you about the master plan. Brent?
Good evening.
I'll sum all 200 pages right here. No, I'll try to be brief. Appreciate the time, Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. DeFebo. Throughout the process, it took a roughly about 12-month process. Definitely, public involvement was a huge component of it. And I stand in front of you with, enthused with the master plan that we have. We feel like it's a quality master plan, a comprehensive master plan. It did address the mission statement, I believe, was one of the questions we have from our presentation in November. I believe it addresses that. The greatest thing I can come to you and share is that the public involvement we had, the public is enthused, they enjoy their park system, and we're looking forward to the future that this plan will help guide us towards.
One of our top items for our retreat upcoming is going to be discussing further plans for implementation. But, patience and more money would be two of the key words we would need to implement the whole plan over a 20-year period it reflects, right?
20 years, that's right.
I'd like to take the opportunity to commend Brent and all the folks who worked on putting this plan together. I mean, it's very impressive. The copy that I got, it's got a lot of information in it, and looks like it's very well done. And I know the staff worked closely to make sure that we got citizen involvement in this, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you very much. That was number one priority for us.
Is this total plan somewhere where citizens can view it?
It is online
Okay.
on the bgky.org website. Go to the Parks and Rec tab, and you'd be able to find it. Obviously, right now it's listed as a proposed plan until after tonight's vote. So.
Any other comments or questions?
I want to ditto what Rick said. I mean, you all really went all out, and people came forward, and you listened to them, and I see it in your plan,
Yeah,
especially some of the smaller groups of people.
Right. Yeah. Well, like I say, the opportunity to meet the public was was something we really took advantage of, and it came out to be a tremendous asset for us.
Williams.
Yes.
Denning.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Wilkerson.
That's the last item on the agenda. We'll be going into a closed session. There'll be no vote taken, Wes, so you're welcome to leave. Our next scheduled meeting is February 2nd, 2016. Invite you to tune in then. Thank you.